Okay. So the way Shankaracharya describes Govidampatihi, he says Gam or Gauhu Vani Tam Vindanti iti Govindaha. People who know the Gam, or they are aware, or they have the knowledge of Gau. And there are 10 different meanings that were given in the previous Nama for what is Gau. So therefore, all of those interpretations are applicable here. So one, he is Govindaha because he is the Lord of all of those knowledge. And he is Govidampatihi. He is the Lord of all of those who have the knowledge about all of those different knowledges, or who are aware of those knowledge. So that is Govidampatihi. And we also talked about, I'm assuming, the 3 main namas. There are 24 Keshava namas. Out of that, 3 namas are very widely, like, they are, we call them, there is a Vidya, sorry, I'm forgetting the name. We call them a specific Vidya. The 3 names are Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda. So, like, for me, it just comes very automatically, like, Achyutananta Govinda, even in sleep. So if you want to chant that, they are very highly potent. Of the 108 namas, of course, Bhagavan has, like, all the names belong to him. And then of those, a Sahasranamam, and of those, there are 108 that we do Ashtotram with. Of those, there are 24, that 24 Keshava namas we do. And of those, the 3 Achyutananta Govinda are considered highly potent. Okay, the next nama is Marichihi. And Marichi means the refulgent. He outshines the most brilliant, and he is the one who actually gives brilliance to all that is brilliant. So he is the Swayam Prakashaha. We have seen that word as well. So he is Swayam Prakashaha, the refulgent, and he gives the brilliance to everything else. That is one interpretation, and that's the interpretation that Shankaracharya provides us. But we are all familiar with the word Marichi because he is one of the Saptarshis. So he is the Manasika son of Brahma, and he's the one, well, he's one of Saptarshis, we know that. And he's the father of Kashyapa Mahamuni, and he is the grandfather of Devas and Asuras. So that is the other interpretation. He himself is he is everything. He is everybody. So he is the one who created Brahma, and Brahma created Marichi and all the other Saptarshis. So he is Marichi as well. So now, oh, we actually need to chant the shloka. I don't think we did 21. So we'll chant the shloka first. So in this shloka, we have Marichihi, Damanaha, Hamsaha, Suparnaha, Bhujagottamaha. So there are 5 names in the first line. And in the second one, Hiranyanabha is one nama. Sutapaha, note that is a dirgham. Sutapaha is one nama. Padmanabha is one nama, and Prajapatihi is the other nama. So there are 9 namas in this shloka. So would somebody like to chant along the shloka with me?
I can.
Awesome. So I'll do the full line, Anita ji. The half lines confuse me.
Okay.
And is the background noise from your end?
Yes.
Okay. मरीचिर्दमनो हंसः सुपर्णो भुजगोत्तमः
मरीचिर्दमनो हंस सुपर्णो भुजगोत्तमः
हिरण्यनाभः सुतपः पद्मनाभः प्रजापतिः.
हिरण्यनाभः सुतपः पद्मनाभः प्रजापतिः.
We'll do it one more time and we'll do the full shloka now. मरीचिर्दमनो हंसः सुपर्णो भुजगोत्तमः हिरण्यनाभः सुतपः पद्मनाभः प्रजापतिः.
मरीचिर्दमनो हंसः सुपर्णो भुजगोत्तमः हिरण्यनाभः सुतपः पद्मनाभः प्रजापतिः.
Awesome. Thank you. So we'll look at the meaning for damanaha. Damanam karoti. So what does damana mean? Like the subduer. So of those that swerve from their assigned duties, such as the king, the lawgiver, Manu, etc. So he's the one who disciplines, and everybody is supposed to be doing their jobs, and he's the one who subdues the ones that swerve from the assigned duties. Okay, without further going deeper into it, we'll move to Hamsaha, which is a very important nama. The meaning that Shankaracharya provides is the destroyer of fear, as he removes the fear of samsara of those that meditate on him as I am he. So, and also the root han means to go, hence he who moves in all bodies. So there are three different meanings. So two are being given by Shankaracharya. One here, the one who removes the fear of samsara. And the second one, the one who moves in all the bodies. And the third one we have seen, Hamsaha, is a Mahavakya in the Upanishads. And that talks about the breath. So inhalation and exhalation are hamsaha. So inhalation is the so, and we do like either so hum or hamsaha. So is inhalation and hum is exhalation. Or if you're doing hamsaha, which is the right way to do it, start with exhalation first. Hum is exhalation, and some is saha is like, or sa is in inhalation. So he is the one who is in us as the breath and as the life force, the prana itself. And we have spoken about Hamsaha before, so I'm not going to go deeper into it. The next nama is Suparnaha, and here it notes that it is also the 855th nama, so it appears twice, of beautiful wings. Suparnaha. Okay. Shruti says there are two birds of beautiful wings, etc. The Lord says, I am Suparna among birds. And this is in Bhagavad Gita where he talks about, no, this is not, this is Mahabharata where he says, I am Suparna among birds. He flies to the other shore of the ocean of samsara. Okay, the next one is Bhujagottamaha, is one nama, the best of divine serpents. Bhujangaha and uttamaha of the bhujangaha or bhujagaha. So bhujena gacchatam uttamo bhujagottamaha, and there is a connotation or interpretation of this to the kundalini in the body and the life energy. And also, of course, the Adisesha, the Ananta, and how a serpent is considered a very important symbolism in our culture, in our and most of the gods have a serpent in some sort or form or shape around them, and that is related to the life energy, and we have spoken about that in Lalita Sahasranamam quite a bit. So the next one, and actually there is a gloss here that I don't know much about. They say Adisesha is a partial incarnation of Vishnu. Okay. Next nama is Hiranyanabhaha, of golden hued navel or having an agreeable and beautiful navel. And Bhagavan's navel is given like a lot of importance in all the stotrams because the whole creation has emerged from there and we interpret that to be the symbolism is the Padmam and Brahma. So he is Padmanabhaha and also the Hiranyagarbha. Sorry, I forgot to. The next nama, Sutapaha, of excellent austerities. He is still performing excellent austerities, tapas, in Badarikashrama in the form of Nara and Narayana. And this is the Badrinath that we are talking about. the concentration of mind and senses is called supreme tapas. This is where Shankaracharya brings us back to Shama and Dama. He says, what is the tapaha means the supreme tapas. And what is supreme tapas? Regulating or concentration of mind and senses together and going beyond the mind and senses. Then Padmanabhaha, having a navel like the lotus, or because he shines in the center of the lotus of heart. So both, and we've spoken about this as well in the past, in Narayana Suktam or Purusha Suktam, especially Narayana Suktam talks very much about where the location of the Padmam, the Antar Padmam, the Hrit Padma, where Bhagavan resides. So you can take it as Bhagavan is the one that has the Padmam from his navel, where Brahma sits, or he lives in the Antar Padmam, the Hrit Padmam. And Prajapatihi, the protector of beings, I think it's a more straightforward nama, the lord of all the prajas. Just more making sure my notes doesn't have anything else. Yeah. Okay, so moving to the next shloka. So shloka number 22. Amrutyuhu is the first nama. Sarva Simhaha. So that is one nama. No, Sarva is one nama. Simhaha is other nama. And we talked about Simhaha in the past. Amrutyuhu, Sarvadruk, Simhaha, Sandhata, Sandhiman, Sthiraha. So there are 6 in the first shloka. Sorry, first line. Ajaha, Durmarshanaha, Shasta, Vishrutatma, Surariha. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 namas in the second line. And by the way, just nuances in the previous shloka when we are chanting. After Hamsaha, there is a Visarga followed by Suparnaha with a Sa. So there will be an extra sibilant, Hamsas Suparno. Note that extra sibilant there. And in the second line, Hiranyanabhas, again, Visarga followed by Sa, there is an extra sibilant there. And Sutapa followed by Pa gives an F kind of a sound. So it will be Sutapa Padmanabhaf Prajapatihi. So there are 2 Fs in the second line. So in this shloka, 22nd, Amrutyus, there is an extra S. Sarvadruk Simhas, extra sibilant. Sandhata Sandhiman Stiraha is straightforward. Note that Sandha is a Mahaprana. Sandhi Man Stiraha. Sandhi is a Mahaprana. Sthiraha is also a Sthi is a Mahaprana. Ajo Durmarshanaha Shasta, and it becomes an extra sibilant with a Shiva Sha. Ajo Durmarshana Shasta Vishrutatma Surariha. I hope that made sense. Who would like to chant the shloka with me? No takers?
I can chant.
Okay. Amrutyus sarva druksimha sandhata sandhiman sthiraha.
अमृत्युः सर्वदृक्सिंहः सन्धाता सन्धिमान् स्थिरः
Ajo durmarshana shasta vishrutatma surariha.
अजो दुर्मर्शनः शास्ता विश्रुतात्मा सुरारिः.
Awesome. So now we will start looking at, we'll do it one more time. Sorry. God. And I'll do the full shloka.
Okay.
Amrutyus sarva druksimha sandhata sandhiman sthiraha ajo durmarshana shasta vishrutatma surariha.
अमृत्युः सर्वदृक्सिंहः सन्धाता सन्धिमान् स्थिरः अजो दुर्मर्षणः शास्ता विश्रुतात्मा सुरारिः.
Awesome. So Amrityuhu, I think kind of have a good sense of what Amrityuhu is, somebody who doesn't have a Mrityu. So, and just based on this one nama, we can go all the way into creation, the emergence and manifestation and unmanifestation, and what we call as the Tripura, or the Trivikrama or Trayambaka, and all of those where we have the Srishti, Sthiti, Laya as three, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti as another three, the Bhuta, Bhavishyat, and like Bhuta, Vartamana, and Bhavishyat as times of like, past, present, and future. So many threes that we can understand each of these. Everything is related to this nama. Why Bhagavan is Amrityuhu, somebody who doesn't have mrityu. So even if he is unmanifesting, it doesn't mean there is mrityu. There is no end to this creation. The creation will always exist. It's just that it will manifest or unmanifest. And even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan talks about this, where it is only manifestation and unmanifestation of the universe. So he is free from death or its cause. The next nama is Sarvadrik, all-seeing. He who cognizes through his innate light the actions of all beings, good or bad. And yesterday we were talking about this. Bhagavan doesn't sit in clouds and makes notes of what's going on and what people are doing and what their actions are, whether they did punya or papa. And then at some point, at a later time, he'll tally all of those and he'll say, you get swarga or you get naraka. The observation, the Sakshi Swarupam, it is happening every second, and it is the he is Antarlina within us. And that the same thing, like we hear about Chitragupta, who is doing all of these calculations, sitting with Yama. He's Yama's assistant. Chitragupta is Chittagupta is how it is interpreted. Means Chittam, our memory, is what is observing our actions and making notes of those, and the karma phalas will ensue based on what our actions are. So Sarvadrak, somebody who sees everything, and there is nothing hidden from him, because he is present everywhere as consciousness, as awareness, as Satchitananda. And this is what we call as like the Sahasra Sirsha Sahasraksha, and where it is like 1,000 heads and 1,000 eyes. So he is Sarvadrik. The next nama is Simhaha, the destroyer, lion of sins. The etymology of Simha is the root Han, to kill. He who destroys the sins of devotees when they merely remember him. The man lion incarnation. So this is like the Narasimha incarnation, but we've also seen Simha Nama in a little more detail, and various other interpretations of Bijakshras and everything in Lalita Sahasranamam when we were doing Simhashaneshwari, the Srimat Simhashaneshwari Nama. So apply all of those to the Nama Simha. Okay, the next nama, now we are entering 201st nama, Sandhata, the regulator, because he joins men to the respective results of their acts. So he bestows eternal prosperity on Prahlada and others is another gloss that's given. But then the main interpretation is he who gives, or he is the bestower of all the karma phalas to everyone. He is the regulator of the karma phalas and how they are distributed. Sandhiman, the experiencer, being the experiencer of the results too. And here we are saying Sandhiman.
Excuse me, Shriji. When you say he's the bestower of karma phala, is it he doing it directly or is he doing it through Dharmaraja or Yama?
Through the algorithm is what I say. Like he is the one who created the law of karma, and through him, the algorithm runs automatically. So whether it is through Dharma Raja, and we can interpret it that way, generally the karma phalas, like you do an action and this is the result that comes out of it, and they're absolutely just like an equation, right hand side equals left hand side and everything equals 0. So that same algebra works in law of karma.
Okay, thank you.
So Sandhiman, the experiencer, being the experience of the results too in his jiva aspect. So he is the experiencer of the results. And does anybody want to contradict this point? Because yesterday we were talking about that he is the abhokta, the akarta abhokta. So here we are saying he is the experiencer too. How is that possible? So he's the experiencer in his jiva aspect, not as the Paramatman himself. The Paramatman is abhokta, akarta abhokta. The Atma doesn't have or is not involved in performing any actions, nor gainer of the results that follow. But the jiva that the Atman is embodied in is the experiencer. So he's the sakshi of the experience, not the experiencer himself.
Or through the deha, right? Through the
Yeah,
deha
through the
experience.
deha. Yeah. And he is not the one, like, we talked about the movie screen analogy, right? The movie could be playing, but the screen is not touched by it. Similarly, the jiva may be going through a lot of scenarios, sukha, dukkha, and sita, shitoshna, everything, but the Atman is just an observer, and the jiva, through the jiva aspect, there is an experience going on, and he's the sakshi of that. Okay, the next nama is sthiraha. He who is the constant, being always the same. He is free from birth, decay, etc. And we've seen this too. There are 6 different vikaras. The birth, asti, jayate, vardhate, viparinamate. So somebody who manifests or takes birth, grows and declines, decays and dies. So he doesn't have those 6 vikaras. He is constant. He is the same, ever young, ever conscious, no change in the consciousness forever. He is eternal and he is sthiraha. And here the other interpretation is he also doesn't move. So the Atman, the Paramatman here doesn't move to Paramatman here. That's not possible because he is spread throughout the universe and there is no more room for him to spread or move locations. The next nama is Ajaha, and Ajaha appears apparently 3 times. 95th nama we have already seen once, and 521st we will see in the future. Currently we are at 204. And the first meaning, if you remember from the 95th nama, when we were looking at the meaning for it, Ajaha means the unborn, the one that doesn't have birth. Here, Ajaha means the mover, or he who moves into the heart of the devotees, or he discharges arrows against demons. Sorry. So those are the 2 meanings that are given here. And it is also the one that is moving in us. It's not literal moving, the one that is allowing us to live, or who is enlivening this jiva to exist or to perform actions. The next nama is Durmarshanaha, the unbearable to the enemies, the asuras in battle. And Purana says, I can slay these if I wish by the tip of my fingers. So the one to the unbearable to the enemies, the asuras in the battle. And we all know that the asuras in Kali Yuga are within us. And of course, there are outside too. But he is the one. By this nama, anybody trying to tackle their anger or any other issues, the lobha, moha, and all of those, this nama is very, very helpful. Om Durmarshanaya Namaha. and especially when you're facing a particular situation and you think you want to control your anger and you shouldn't be angry. Generally, you shouldn't be angry anytime. Just use this nama to control that anger. The next nama is Shasta, the teacher. He instructs all by means of Shruti and Smriti. And we all know the Dharma Shasta. Shasta in Skanda is given that name as Shasta. The one who provides the law, the rules to follow. So that is Shasta. Vishrutatma, of renowned self. Self characterized by truth, wisdom, etc. He who is specially glorified. His form is known to all through scriptures. So Vishruta Atma. And at some point we were doing some exercise and I requested like if anybody wanted to go through the whole Vishnu Sahasranamam and find the Atma namas, the namas that have Atma in it. So I don't know if you did that exercise. And if you did those, there is a beautiful connection of all the Atma namas. They can be chanted separately. And there is a beautiful connection. They are all string of pearls. And if you have done that exercise, just go through those namas and see if you can find those connections.
I sent them to you. I did not get a response.
Sorry, Bhavaniji, I couldn't hear you. Your voice is very faint.
I sent all the Atma names in the forum.
In the forum? Awesome. I don't know how many actually have had a chance to look at it or do the exercise themselves.
I saw that she did it, yes.
Yeah. But an exercise that everybody should be taking up and see if you're able to find all of those connections. There is an innate connection, like a beautiful connection among those namas. Try to find that. Surariha, destroyer of the foes of gods. Sura, Ari, Ha. So there are three terms in this. Sura means devas, Ari means foes, and Ha means to hanyati, or to kill. So the one who kills the foes of gods. Okay, we'll look at the next shloka. Guruhu, Gurutamaha, Dhamaha, Satyaha, Satyaparakramaha. So there are 5 namas in the first line. Guruhu, Gurutamaha, Dhamaha, Satyaha, Satyaparakramaha. And then the next line is Nimishaha, Animishaha, reminds me of Mahanarayana Upanishad. Sragvi, Vachaspatiruddharadhihi is one nama, as Shankaracharya interprets it. And I've seen some other variations where Vachaspati is taken as one, Udaradihi is taken as one. So here we are taking Vachaspati Udaradihi as one nama. Okay, who would like to chant the shloka?
I would like to chant, Sridevi.
Awesome. We'll go with Ajay Mahoday. Gurur Guru Tamo Dhama Satya Satya Parakramaha.
Guru
Sorry, somebody else is not muted. Go ahead, Ajay Mahoday.
धन्यवादः गुरुर्गुरुतमो धाम सत्य सत्य पराक्रमः
निमिषो निमिषस्रग्वी वाचस्पतिरुदारधीः.
निमिषो निमिषस्रग्वी वाचस्पतिरुदारधीः.
Awesome. Sorry, I forgot to mention the nuances. So dhamaha is a visarga followed by satyaha. So dhamas, there will be an extra s there, and satyaha followed by satya parakramaha is also the same visarga followed by sa, another extra sibilant for satya parakramaha. Notice if you're reading it from Sanskrit, you will see an s kind of a sign, avasarga, which is animisha. It's a representation of a. So there is an extra elongation. Generally, we will say nimisho, nimisha, but here we are saying Nimisho, Nimisha. There is a what we call as Plutam. There is Hrasvam, Dirgham, and Plutam, where Dirgha plus another Matra. So elongate a little longer than what you would generally do. Nimisho, Nimisha, Sragvi. That's how it will come. And Vachaspati, Rudaradhi is a Mahaprana. Notice that. So we'll do the full shloka, Ajaya Mahoday.
अस्तु
गुरुर्गुरुतमो धामः सत्यः सत्यपराक्रमः निमिषो निमिषस्रग्वी वाचस्पतिरुदारधीः
गुरुर्गुरुतमो धाम सत्य सत्य पराक्रमः निमिषो निमिषस्रग्वी वाचस्पतिरुदारधीः.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's excellent. So we'll look at the meanings. Guruhu, it also appears as the 493rd nama. And yeah, So I'm just reading that 209 and 210 are combined in some of the traditions too, but we are separating them. Guru and Gurutamaha are two different namas, according to what Shankaracharya has interpreted. The preceptor, and we know who Guru is, and we can go into a lot of detail into what Guru is and Guru Padukas and how they are connected to two Bijaksharas and how they are above Sahasra. Sahasrara chakra and things like that. So it's a very, very important nama, as he is the promulgator of all vidyas, or as he is the generator of all beings. He is the supreme guru to Brahma and others, and he is the one who actually created the what is knowledge. So he is the master of the knowledge as well. So, and we've seen so many other namas that are Veda, Vedavit, Dharmagnaha, and all of those that are related to knowledge. Here we are seeing him as the Guru, the only Guru. The next nama is Guru Tamaha, the supreme teacher. Just giving it like another superlative as a supreme teacher. He is the imparter of Brahma Vidya, science of liberation, even to Brahma and others. He first created Brahma and imparted to him the Vedas. So, Guruhu is all knowledge, even materialistic knowledge, and Guru Tamaha, the supreme teacher that teaches us even Brahma Vidya, about how to know about him and how to reach him. The next nama is Dhamaha, the effulgence. Narayana is the supreme light, or Dhama, abode, as he is the abode of all desired objects. Brahman is the supreme abode. He is the Dhamam. And I think Dhamma gets used even when we name our homes. I think when how many of you know in India we name houses, and even I named my house here as a Sannidhi. But usually in India we use Nivas and things like that. So even Dhamma is used in that sense. It is the abode, but he is the abode of all existence because we are all living in him. He is he is encircling the whole universe, and we all live in that effulgence. The next nama, Satyaha, the truth, as he is the essence of truth. In Mahanarayana Upanishad, therefore they say, truth is supreme. He is the truth of truth. And Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, the beings, pranas, are the truth, and he is the truth of them. Satya Nama is, I think, the profound nama that is the underlying, the substratum of all Vedic knowledge. It is, and we've recently been talking about it in Gita class more than here. Satya means the one that does not, that has independent existence. It has existed in the past, it will exist in the future, it exists now. There is no non-existence for Satya, and everything else other than the consciousness, other than the awareness, or other than the Atma, all are interchangeable synonyms. Satyaha is the only thing that is the truth. All else has dependent existence. When we say Mithya is the opposite word that we use for Satya. So Satya and Mithya. Mithya doesn't mean illusion. Mithya means it exists, but it has dependent existence. And the examples we can take are jewelry, so bangles or like rings and everything. So they are all existent, but they have dependent existence on gold. You cannot remove gold out of jewelry. So Satyaha is the underlying philosophy of all existence. So this nama is an extremely important one. And of course, even our Mundaka Upanishad says Satyameva Jayate. And there are so many variations of interpretations for that. He is the supreme truth, and we have to live by it. Okay. Then the next nama is Satya Parakramaha, of truthful valor. Parakramam, I think, is the word that we all use in regional languages. Everybody understands that. So he is the one with absolute parakrama, absolute valor. And we've seen the Nama Bhagavan in the past, where he has in absolute measure Aishwarya and knowledge and all of those. So even Parakramam is in absolute measure. Therefore, he is Satya Parakramaha. The next Nama is Nimishaha. He whose eyes are closed. His eyes are closed during his yogic sleep or yoga nidra. And we'll also look at animishaha. He who is ever awake, being ever wise, or animisha may mean the incarnation of Matsya, which has no eyelids, or he is the self ever awake. So there are multiple meanings that are being given here. But the one meaning that is important combination of this nimisho, nimishaha, two names. So we have three stages, right? Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. I'm assuming everybody knows what those are. So the awaken state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. And then there is what we call as the Turiya. And then we talk about in Turiya Tita in another philosophy. But what's important is he is awake or he is asleep, still awake. Nimishaha and animishaha, and that is called as the samadhi state, which is where the mind and senses have been completely controlled, and you go into a state where your awareness is still working, but you're not sleeping. That state, that yogic state, is extremely important to connect with Bhagavan. So Nimisho Nimishaha is a very practical something that we have to take steps to get to that samadhi state. And I think everybody knows that Swami Vivekananda used to go into this state very often, and he would just spend hours in that state. That's where a person can have access to beyond, the astral knowledge that's available can go beyond this body and senses. Okay, so the next nama is Sragvi. He always wears the garland, Vaijayanti, the symbol of the Tanmatras, rudiments of the elements. So the Sragvi means the garlanded. He always wears a garland. And there are some philosophies where you only pray to one Bhagavan, and it is okay for them to speak about various things about the other forms of Bhagavan, which to me feels like insane, but that's okay. And I've recently heard somebody say, I don't know why Bhagavan Vishnu wears so much of jewelry and so many malas, and so he's adorned with so many pitambaras, and he has all of this fancy. Unlike Shiva, and they're comparing Bhagwan forms, where they were saying, oh, Shiva is like so minimalist and he doesn't really need anything, and that's how Bhagwan should be. And these are forms that we have created, right? And in the Puranas, we give all of those extra jewelry, and then we start interpreting them and we start commenting on Bhagavan, which is ridiculous. But there is a reason why the two forms are so different. And there is one Srishtikarta, there is the Sthitikarta, and there is the Pralaya, the Samharakarta. And there are deeper meanings and deeper symbolisms on why each of these Bhagavans have this kind of weapons they hold, what they wear as garments, what they wear as jewelry, and there is a lot of detail given. Know that our Puranas and what is in our Shruti and Smriti is not merely stories. It is there's a lot of science. I think it's important for us to learn what is in it rather than commenting without understanding. So he wears garland. The garland is also given a name, Vaijayanti, and it is a symbol of the Tanmatras. Tanmatras are the Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So these are not the sense organs, but the senses themselves. And these senses are derived from the Panchabhutas. So they are the, just like how we say Paramatman and Jivatman, there are the Panchabhutas, the Mahabhutas, and then there is the Jiva Bhutas. Those are the Tanmatras. So he is wearing those garlands. And we all learned, like, Talam Prithivyatmane Gandham Kalpayami, Hamakashatmane Pushpam Kalpayami. So this garland is a representative of all of those Tanmatras. And there is a meaning why he wears it around his neck. With that, it's 9:44. If there are any comments, anybody wants to share any knowledge, please go ahead and we'll conclude it for the week. Okay. We'll do it with Shanti Mantra. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु सर्वं श्रीमन्नारायण चरणारविन्दार्पणमस्तु. Thank you so much for your time. We'll catch up at 10 o'clock for Lalita Sahasranamam.
Thank you,
Thank
Shri.
you, Guruji.
Thank you,
Thank
Sriji.
you. Dhanyavadaha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
धन्यवाद.